Hi guys, welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast. Just me and Rhys again today to talk about Kenneth Branagh's Death on the Nile, the follow-up to his 2017 Snorefest, Murder on the Orient Express. You'd seen the previous film, Rhys?
Yeah, I'd seen it. Yeah.
Enjoyed it?
I did, yeah. I like Poirot films. I got nothing against them.
I think there was, I don't know, it didn't do anything new for me. And I was we'll talk about this new one in a second, but yeah, that one bored me as equally, I think. Death on the Nile, so directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Kenneth Branagh, a big old mustache, known cannibal Armie Hammer, future Razzie Award nominee Gal Gadot, a slew of others, Russell Brand, Emma Mackey, Dawn French, Jennifer Saunders,
Letitia Wright.
Was that it?
Rose Leslie
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then Tom Bateman, who was in the first film.
Was he in the first film?
Yeah, so he knows him.
Is that why?
Yeah, that's how he knows. I'm pretty sure he also said, "I got fired from the train." I'm almost sure he says that when he meets him.
I need to Google this because I was like, oh, he's just got this friend. I never knew he was from the first film, but now looking at IMDb, he is definitely in the first film. Oh my God, half of the people in that first film I don't remember being in it.
Oh, Daisy Ridley was in it.
Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, Penelope Cruz, Josh Gad. Fuck me. All I remember was Judi Dench and Johnny Depp.
It's got Johnny Depp, isn't it?
He gets murdered, doesn't he?
Oh, that's probably why I forgot that.
Yeah. Right. So, spoiler free, Rhys. What did you think of Death on the Nile?
I mean, yeah, I think it was good. I feel there's not much you can do to them because obviously they've already been written, they've already been done.
You can't change them too much.
I feel like you can't spice them up too much because then it's not
upset Poirot, that core fan base of Poirot.
I don't think Poirot films are fast-paced.
No.
They're more about him than anything else, I think.
Yeah. I appreciate what he's trying to do, where he's telling that classic Agatha Christie whodunnit, but he's trying to, spicing it up a bit, making it a bit sexier.
Yeah.
That is essentially what he's doing, modernizing it a bit. And just putting together these really big, quite impressive casts. Yeah. Even though in this movie, I don't think anyone is particularly good.
Oh, I liked. I've got a name here.
I think Emma Mackey.
Emma Mackey was good. Yeah, I liked Sophie Okonedo. That's what I'm going to say her name. She was the singer. So
yes.
Salome.
Yeah.
Say her name. She was good.
She had something about her, bit of personality.
Yeah.
But Armie Hammer,
a lot of them,
is dreadful.
It's because he couldn't eat anyone.
The craft services isn't doing what I want.
He just took a bite of a sandwich. He's like, is this ham?
Can I eat?
Yeah, he was like, no.
Can I eat Gal Gadot?
But yeah, so when do I? Sorry. When do I eat Gal Gadot?
So you're saying people get murdered on this? Is it specific murder, or can we sort of change that a bit? Can we involve some cannibalism? Speaking of Gal Gadot, also profoundly terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I even though I'd seen it a million times, I did crack up at the enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Yeah, what a dumbass. I'm assuming that line was probably in the original book. I'm assuming.
Probably, yeah.
But I just...
And all the 80-year-old women go...
Yeah, apart from that one who's like, oh, I don't like being rich. Imagine that. Imagine being so rich that you can turn around and go, no, I don't like being rich.
God, the problems they face. Emma Mackey was the only real standout for me in the cast. I'm a big fan of her from
I think it's because
Sex Education.
she had the most interesting role, though, didn't she? Like
she definitely had the most interesting.
The rest
role.
of them are just there as like other suspects, but then her character is the one with like
you've got obviously you've got to fill out that the boat full of. I just wish the people that these actors were playing were interesting, and none of them really captured me.
Like they had, like they could have been interesting.
Like they were all unique.
I'm sure in the original book, they probably are very interesting. They're probably more fleshed out, but obviously the film was already over 2 hours.
Yeah.
You've got to feel you haven't got time to go around, what was it? I think it was like 10 people and be like, here is everything about these people.
Yeah, I think my problem was, we'll get into spoilers in a second, but once I figured out who had done it, and I didn't suspect anyone else really from the start, because I was like, okay, that person, these people are the only ones with real motives to me in this scenario. So from once I sort of figured it out, I was just waiting to the end, and nothing was grabbing me, because it is just a sort of a series of interrogations.
Yeah.
Until the reveal, and I was like, oh, I know I know who it is, and then it got to the end, and I'm not familiar with Death on the Nile. I wasn't really familiar with Murder on the Orient Express either. So, and whilst that twist in that film did surprise me a bit more, I was still
I found that twist ridiculous in the first one.
Well, everyone did
that
it.
They all at some point in the night stabbed him, right?
Yeah, that really made me laugh.
I was like, what?
Is that what it is in the original text?
I'd have to assume so, yeah.
You got to think.
I'm pretty sure in Agatha Christie's books, they were like crazy endings all the time, I think.
Okay.
I bet if Calvin was here, he'd know.
He would probably know. Yeah.
He reads books.
Unfortunately for us, he didn't sit through this. Right, we'll get into spoilers then, because it's a whodunit, so that's the real only interesting thing, is spoiling it. So as I suspected, who did you suspect first?
Well, I said before going in, I said it's either Gal Gadot or it's Emma Mackey.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And once Gal Gadot got knocked off,
I was like,
okay, that's limited it.
There was one moment where I was like, oh, maybe it's someone else, but then I was like, no, it's.
I guessed it was Armie Hammer before we went in, purely because I was like, it's Armie Hammer. He's a dodgy guy. He's probably playing this dodgy character. And then as soon as you sort of know the relationship between the three of these people,
yeah.
So it is Emma Mackey. What was her name? Jacqueline. Jackie.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline and Simon were to be wed upon meeting. What's Gal Gadot's character's name?
Lynette.
Upon meeting Lynette.
Go to Wikipedia, but all right.
Yeah. That's what you're here for. Upon meeting Lynette, his fascination changes to this woman. He says as soon as he saw her, he knew that in his mind, Jackie didn't even exist anymore. And I was like, right, well, okay, if it isn't Armie Hammer, then it's Emma Mackey. Turns out it was both of them.
It was both of them.
So we were both right. So I think, well done us. We know our way around a whodunit.
It is weird because because they said that was the plan,
Yeah.
Get the money and all that. But the start then seems really weird when obviously him and Gal Gadot are dancing together and we're watching Emma Mackey's character and she's like crying. But I'm like, if this was the plan, you wouldn't be this upset. I'm not saying I'm just saying
just to throw us off, Rhys, throw us off the
scent. But that's what it was. It was just there to be like, oh, see, she's genuinely sad.
So that was me. That was their plan before the film starts.
Yeah. But I think that's
got this idea.
That's a bit, having that bit is a bit silly for me because she wouldn't cry.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because she'd be like, our plan is working.
Yeah.
And
No, you're probably right. I think
no
when I
one
came
was
out of
watching
it,
her. Gal Gadot and I wasn't watching her. She just was in her own world, upset. Unless she loved this man so much. Yeah, unless she loved him so much that just seeing him dance with another woman.
Couldn't bear to see it.
Yeah, because she was that kind of character. She was
a bit nuts.
I mean,
wasn't
big spoilers. She shot them both at the end.
she? Yeah.
With that tiny little gun.
Yeah.
The bullets went all the way through. Don't quite believe that. No, it was the small gun.
It was the small gun. And Armie Hammer's quite a thick man.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's, there's some power on that pistol. To be fair, that was the twist I didn't see coming.
That
they'd offer them that. Well, she'd off both of them, not they'd off themselves. It was all up to her. I'm glad she got the most to do out of the cast, I think, because she was, whether this is down to the writing, but she definitely had the most interesting performance and character. And I'm like, have you seen Sex Education?
Yeah. It's nice, and she was a very different character.
Yeah, which I'm happy to see her do other stuff, and I hope we see her in more things soon. She's definitely sort of that Daisy Ridley type of casting.
Yeah.
This up and comer. Hopefully Daisy Ridley hasn't done a lot since Star Wars has ended.
She did that one film.
She did Chaos Walking with Tom Holland, and it was terrible.
That's probably all. Oh, she did the Great British Bake Off.
There's one for the IMDb. Yeah. Did anything really stick out to you about Death on the Nile, Rhys?
I mean, what's her name? Euphemia, Book's mum, who is so violently against love.
Oh, Annette Bening.
Yeah. She's like, you're not marrying Letitia Wright's character. And it's like, she was but there was no reason behind it. Like, I feel like there was more there. Like, she was just like, love is a lie. And it's like, well, why do you think that?
Yeah, you're right. I thought at one point they were, because of obviously the time this is set in, what was it, 1937?
I don't know, I haven't got that up.
Around there. I did think, they were going to have some commentary on race in that time and why she wouldn't approve of this marriage. But yeah, they never went down that road. And so her motivations to
it was just sort
of keep them apart, I wasn't
fully
grasping what she was thinking.
Yeah, like it wasn't a thing of like a mother being like, no one is good enough for my son. It was just love is a lie. And we can do the math ourselves. She was probably hurt in the past.
Yeah, I just thought there should have been
a bit of a knob, but I feel like you could have explored that a bit more.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Definitely.
And then obviously we had the mustache origin story at the start of the film.
Let's talk about the mustache origin story.
I mean, for starters, when they first showed that first guy, I was like,
oh, is that him?
That's Poirot when he was younger. But
I imagine that was what they expected you to think.
Yeah,
actually.
And then a lovely bit of CGI. It doesn't always look good.
A de-aged
when they do that, but I think it helped because it's in black and white.
Yeah.
And then they go on this attack that he is like, they were going to wait to attack, but then he started talking about birds and how they go when the wind changes. They do this ambush on the Germans, they win, and then Poirot's captain very carelessly in the middle of a battlefield just saunters off over a tripwire, blows himself up. And then we have a very dramatic moment where
half of Kenneth's face goes with it.
Yeah. And he's that dramatic bit where his fiance comes and he's like, oh, I told you not to come. he's like looking away from her. And he turns, he's got a big old hole in his face.
Mainly the upper lip.
It's not though. It's mainly the cheek. He's got a massive.
Yeah. No, you're right. It was sort of the entire cheek, and then it went on to the upper lip.
Yeah, it was like
and then the rest of the movie, I was like,
ball-sized hole.
Yeah, I was like, where's the rest of his face come from?
Yeah, scar on his mouth, and he goes, he's basically like, look at me, I'm hideous, and she goes, you could just grow a mustache.
Grow a really extravagant, wild mustache.
And that is why he grows the ridiculous mustache he has.
The exact mustache that his superior had.
Yeah, his captain had. And then in the end of the film, he shaves the mustache off.
Bad move.
Suddenly, nobody recognizes him. Literally, he bumps into a guy who he spoke to at the start of the film, and he was just like, wow, we're close, mate. I was like, he doesn't look that different.
To be fair, I think because that mustache is so big and defining.
Do you think people just see that?
I think people just see the mustache, and I think they look past everything else.
So if anyone else had that mustache, they'd run up to them and be like, oh, Poirot, and there'd be some guy like, oh, no.
Probably. It's a very distinctive, unique mustache.
I would always walk around with that mustache, and just because he gets like free shit all the time. Like, he gets desserts for free in this place.
To be fair, if someone was walking around with a mustache, I'd probably give them free shit as well. That's like, you deserve it. That is impressively grown. Kenneth Branagh, I imagine it was a stick job.
I like the emotion after Boot died. It was kind of nice seeing this new.
I think I would have got it more if I'd remembered he was from the first film.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, we don't know this guy.
that moment though, right? This is when my mind, because you know when you like figure out the who it is.
Yeah.
You sit there for a while, but then part of you just wants to be wrong, doesn't it? So you kind of like start thinking about other people, and
you want to be wrong, so the rest of the film is a bit more exciting.
Boot got shot, and the person was running away. I was like, that's his mum. His mum's just shot him because his mum is a psychopath.
You thought that was his mother?
Genuine. I was like, she is so against him marrying this woman that she would rather kill him.
And she'd do it in front of the detective.
Because that would be an insane twist.
That would be.
As she just so against love, she came on the boat to kill everyone who's in love.
Everyone.
Jennifer Saunders and Dawn French were next. She was going to kill everyone on that boat.
Honestly, I think I would have really enjoyed that.
Imagine that.
Annette Bening just on a mad one.
Yeah.
And Ken's got to stop her.
And then right at the end, it's just him and her left. And he's like, oh, I think it's you.
Honestly, Rhys, I think you should write one of these movies.
Yeah, I'm going to get in touch with Kenneth and be like, yo.
For the third one?
What's the next one you're writing?
I was just a crazy mum.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenneth Branagh as a director, I disagree with it, but he has just been nominated for Best Director for Belfast. He's very renowned. He's praised as this great director, and I looking at his recent stuff, and nothing is, because he's got these 2 Agatha Christie movies. He's got the first Thor, which is fine. He's got Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, which is, I don't remember a thing about that movie except his Russian accent. Belfast really didn't do it for me. And honestly, I think the best film he's directed in the last decade is Cinderella.
So he did Cinderella. He did that Artemis Fowl, which apparently was terrible.
Oh my God. I forgot. I got half an hour into that film. And I love
this. His early work is he directed a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's praised for, mate.
And then at some point in his life, he went,
Thor.
He went, yeah, superheroes, and then Poirot.
Which, to be fair, I think his Shakespearean, what do you call it? His experience with Shakespeare and stuff really lent to that rendition of Thor and the telling of that story. And I think he actually did a very good job with that. And then obviously they've turned Thor into this wild sort of space comedy since. But yeah, I think we all prefer that. But I thought that was an interesting take, especially for a character like Thor at the start. But nothing else he's done has really done it for me, except that Cinderella movie, which was surprisingly good.
Maybe the next Agatha Christie one would be great. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think, because these 2 on the trot.
Yeah,
I had to take a nap in the middle of both.
The only other Agatha Christie thing I know of is that one Doctor Who episode.
I'm very unfamiliar.
Where the guy is a wasp. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh yeah, some guy, like she's there, and there's some other guy, and he's actually a giant wasp. And
Wait, Agatha Christie's actually there.
yeah, Agatha Christie's actually there.
Right, okay. I
And
thought you were saying Agatha Christie has got this
no,
novel
no,
with a
no, no,
man
no.
as a big wasp. And why isn't Kenneth doing these movies?
No, Doctor Who did it, but
Right, okay.
because like she would like disappeared or something, like in real life,
Right.
and
Okay.
no one knows where she went. And this, I think this episode of Doctor Who explains that. I can't remember the end of it.
And it
So
was something to do with a big man wasp.
big man
Right.
wasp.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at other Agatha Christie books now, and I don't know any of these books.
No, yeah, me neither. If the twist in this film was none of the people are actually murderers, it's just been a wasp
Just a
going
massive
around
wasp.
with a really big stinger that looks like a bullet hole.
There was a mummy that I don't know. That random alligator that we saw in that one bit. Do you remember that? Do you remember the random alligator they showed us?
I do.
That felt like it was gonna be relevant, but then wasn't.
Just putting you in the scene, the setting, Rhys. Let's talk about the scene. We're in Egypt. We're on the Nile, and I wish it didn't look so fake.
Yeah,
because
like there was some very obvious. There was some very obvious green screen bits.
I think a lot of it. Every time we transitioned to a CG background, I was like,
some of it shot in lockdown? Was that why?
Probably, but I mean, the majority of films coming out now have shot in lockdown, so that's can't really see why not an excuse.
Just go to Egypt and shoot in Egypt.
Would have looked beautiful, but no, and I think that is one of my problems with the film. It feels very manufactured, and I never felt the setting. And I think one thing that I was looking forward to was that, like, as a kid, I was obsessed with ancient Egypt. Thought that's absolutely fascinated by it, and I've always wanted to go. And the actual setting of this film, it didn't do anything for me, because I just felt like we were on a soundstage.
Yeah.
And surrounded by green screen, it just didn't tickle my fancy, not one bit. Anything else to say about Death on the Nile, Rhys?
No.
Well, let's
think.
Let's get to your rating.
Music's very good.
Music's very good. Nothing stuck out to me.
Like a bit of blues.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, I wonder if that woman. I need to look it up. I want to know if that woman was like
real
or based at least on a real person.
Can have a Google after. Find out.
My rating. 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Like I said, I didn't hate it, but yeah, it's slow. There were lots of things that they could have expanded on that they didn't. But it was all right.
Fair. All right, 3.5 out of 5. I'm gonna go 2.5 out of 5. Just didn't grab me. I enjoyed one of the performances. Oh, to be fair, we've not really talked about Kenneth Branagh's performance, which he's good.
He's good. He's good. He's
not got his character down.
The guy who did it, on the TV movies.
Oh yeah, can't remember his name. I know exactly. I know he.
But no, he does it. He does it. He does that. He's got the good balance of like this man being a bit of an egotist, but also he's good at his job. He knows he's good at his job, but he cares.
And and he's got these like little ticks and stuff. And I think he's nailed that for sure. But other than him and Emma Mackey, no one really blew me away. In fact, I thought the majority of performances were quite bad. And yeah, I was just a bit bored, really. It wasn't exciting enough. And I think when you're coming out recently with whodunits, such as like the new Scream, Knives Out, I think, changing it up a bit is might be needed.
And I mean, I don't know who keeps saying it's a good idea, but people need to stop asking Jennifer Saunders to do an American accent.
I agree.
She can't do one.
Terrible.
But yeah, that just cropped into my mind now.
Yeah, man. No, I get you. So I'm a 2.5 out of 5. Oh, by the way, if anyone listening to this is wondering whether to go see Uncharted, which has just come out, we're probably not going to get around to reviewing it because no one else has seen it yet. And I don't think any of you are eager to.
Jack said he'd go next week, I think.
Oh, maybe we'll get around to it. But if you're wondering whether to go see Uncharted, I definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I am the only person I've spoken to who does like it. But I'm a very big fan of the games. So, take that for what you will. It's a good movie. Right, but that is our review of Death on the Nile. I forgot the fucking name of it again. If you're listening on YouTube, then let us know down below in the comments what you thought of the movie. Also, like and subscribe. If you're listening on another streaming platform, then rate, like, follow. All that good stuff really helps us out. Until next time, keep it real.